Welcome to Mondays with Maria Gould, and welcome to episode 1. Today is January the 6th, 2025. I'm Maria Gould. I am a Freedom from Self-Sabotage certified coach. I'm a Theta Healing Master, instructor with a Certificate of Science. I'm a Reiki Master. And I have transformed my life with the modalities that I'm certified to share with you. And I would like this podcast to be your new day, the dawning of a new day. This is your new day to live your best life. So today in the episode, I would like to share a little bit about January. And what comes up in January? New Year's resolutions, setting new goals, making changes for the life you want to lead. Now, I used to be the person that set New Year's resolutions only to fall off the bandwagon very early on and get discouraged and never stick to my goals until I started to use my 5D approach. And that's what I'm going to discuss on this podcast. My 5D approach. So first of all, let's just chat about the coin phrase 5D. A lot of podcasters, maybe if you listen to New Age or spiritual, they are talking about moving from 3D to 5D. What does that mean? Well, 3D, in my opinion, is just that mundane, kind of getting by, doing the job, doing the family stuff, and just living a mundane life. 5D is where you start to step into who you really are as a divine light, as a divine soul made by our Creator. And you start to say, I can create my life. That's what 5D is to me. And of course, there's other connotations that I'll talk about in later podcasts. But truthfully, my 5D approach. So let's hash it out for a second. We've all set goals. Maybe it's, especially in the new year after all of the indulgences of December, we're like, we're going to eat better. We're going to exercise. We're going to have a healthier lifestyle. Maybe it's to lose weight, maybe it's to gain weight, whatever your goal is. A lot of times health is a big motivator. And truthfully, health is one of the biggest pillars of strength that you can invest in. People that take care of their health live longer, they live healthier, they have less physical complications, mental complications, relationship complications. And why is that? Because when we're feeding ourselves well, when we take care of ourselves, get enough water and rest and proper nutrition, and we take care of our mental health, we actually can be the best version of ourselves. For years and years, I sabotaged myself with awful eating habits and drinking too much in excess. And let me share with you, I was clinically depressed. I was on antidepressants. I wasn't living a life that I wanted. I was barely coping. And I was using food and alcohol to cope, right? And when I started to decide that I could change my life and start to make my life better, it was life transformative. And through the podcast, I'll share that journey a little bit more, but I don't want to get off focus today. So when we decide to do something, that is our first D. You thought I was going to talk about 5D, didn't you? No, I'm going to talk about 5D words that you can use to actually keep yourself focused on your goals. Little trip of the trade here. So deciding is step number 1. You have to decide to make a change. Now, take a look at your current, let's use health as an example. Look at your current eating pattern, sleep pattern. Look at your current stress levels, sleeping patterns, exercise patterns. How much water do you drink? How much are you taking care of this beautiful vessel that our divine creator gave to you? Do you treat it with love and respect? Or do you use it as, one of my mentors says, a garbage disposal? Putting garbage in all the time. Garbage food, garbage drinks, garbage input from social media or the things that we ingest through our mind and our environment? Or do you take care? Take care and decide that you're going to take control over the physical pillar of health. One of our foundational pillars. If you don't have physical health, how can you have mental health? How can you have financial health? How can you have abundance and health in your relationships if you don't feel well? It's hard to do anything. In my healing business, in my healing practice, I help a lot of people with very difficult disorders, diseases, to help them start to shift and heal. If you're interested in that, you can check out my website at mariagould.com. But back to our making a change, deciding on a goal and sticking to it. So if you take a look at your life and you aren't happy with where you're at, the first step you got to do is decide to do something different. And a lot of us know innately what to do. Now, throughout this podcast series, we're going to talk about different areas that you can focus on. But what do you decide to do? Now, a lot of times the brain will already start to have resistance. Oh, so if it's eating healthier, your brain will go, oh, but then I have to give up all the things I like. No. It means you have to use them in moderation, absolutely, to get the changes that you're looking for. Again, garbage in. Right? So what do you decide? Take baby steps in your decision. If it's to eat better, break it down in bite-sized pieces. Write it on a calendar. Eating better. Start with the first week, drinking water. So if you're the type of person that barely drinks water, maybe you drink a lot of coffee or lattes or energy drinks, the first thing to do is actually just add water. Right? Add water for a week. Try to get a liter of water. Then the second week, try to get a couple liters of water a day. Let your body adjust. Now, let's go on to step 2. Step 2, the second D. So you've decided to eat better, and now how do you stick to it? It really comes down to the second D, determination. Determined. How determined are you to reach and make these changes? Now, I think the best changes that we can make are always lifestyle changes. We can always decide to lose 10 pounds and set some goals and lose that 10 pounds, but unless we make the lifestyle changes, it never stays, right? If we decide to start a business or write a book, we actually have to have that determination to follow through, to take little steps each and every day to reach those goals. So how determined are you? Now again, you're going to feel and hear your brain and its resistance, because do you want to know why? The subconscious loves you to stay exactly where you are. Oh, okay. Well, that's why, Maria. That's why I never complete a goal. No. I share that not as an excuse, but to tell you how your mind works. Our mind, our subconscious, doesn't like change because its job is to keep you bubble wrapped and safe. How does it keep you bubble wrapped and safe? Well, you actually, when you're comfortable with what you're doing in your life, whether you like it or not, if you're doing it and haven't made changes to why you're doing it, you're comfortable. Maybe you're comfortable in the misery. Now, I know that can feel a little bit harsh, but truthfully, unless you're uncomfortable, and unless it gets so uncomfortable in what you have been doing, you don't make changes. Unless you apply the 5 Ds. It's much easier to apply the 5 Ds and make changes to prevent disasters in the future, right? Especially with our health. I saw my mother who did not take care of herself. Again, she's my motivator because she showed me how to learn to take care of myself. I had to learn to take care of myself, as many of you out there had to. And then somebody that was a client that was the exact same age as my mother. She had always exercised, she had always eaten well. She was the exact same age at 80 years old. And my mom could barely get out of the chairs. She could barely move around. Her mental health was not good. She ended up with Alzheimer's. And this other woman that took care of herself for years and years was going on trips with friends to Ireland and a bike trip around Ireland. How cool is that? And that just sparked something in my brain, was like, I need to take care of myself. The groundwork that I lay today is actually my future self. People that eat well and exercise live healthier, longer lives. It's just how it is. Less disease. That's kind of the blueprint of the body. So there's no biohacks to that. It's always going to come back to healthy eating, healthy movement, healthy sunshine, healthy sleep, healthy relationships. So how determined are you to make a change? I hope my story about my mom and how that made me get determined and dedicated, the next D, dedication, can inspire you. The next D is dedication. So you've decided to make a lifestyle change. You're determined. And now you dedicate. You dedicate some time to this. So remember that subconscious mind, it loves to stay comfortable, even if that comfortable is miserable. And your subconscious needs to learn new habits. And that's where dedication starts to transform into discipline. So let's talk about dedication first. So if you're wanting a healthier lifestyle, you have to decide it and be determined that this will be a new lifestyle, a new leaf, a new day. Right? It's the dawning of a new day. So you're going to start. And the dawning of a new year. That's why we're talking in January. And each day is a new day to reignite your goals. So what is dedication? Dedication is having it in your mind all the time. And I don't mean obsessing, but it's almost like this is a new you. This is a new you. So when you write a grocery list, would you put Kraft dinner on there? No. What other choice could I put on there? What if you don't have any vegetables or healthy organic fruit on there? Maybe you want to add that to your grocery list. Maybe you want to cross the chips and the pop off the list. Right? The treats, the desserts. And again, can you feel your subconscious mind? It's like the elephant in the back of the room, isn't it? Your subconscious mind is like, roar, growl, 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 growl. Remember I said the subconscious mind doesn't like change. That's why we have to stay determined. And even though that subconscious mind is grumbly and a little resistant, each step in the right direction, each healthy choice you make, you're going to feel more and more in control over that elephant of a subconscious. You become the rider of the elephant. So every choice that is in the right direction of healthy eating, healthy movement, healthy sleep patterns, this will accumulate and it cascades into the next one. And this dedication of taking time to think about meals, think about what you want to prepare, what you want to have ready. I always have fresh cut up vegetables in my fridge at all times. I always have a salad that's made. If I run out, I have another salad. I always have vegetable soups that are easy to kind of pull out and there's an instant meal. I always have healthy chicken breast cooked so that I can cut up and add a little bit of protein to a salad or a soup. When things are planned and you've dedicated some time to making these healthy options available, and you've dedicated time to shopping for groceries that are as healthy as you can afford. If you can afford organic, non-GMO, please do that. There is so much research that actually says from switching people from, conventionally grown fruits and vegetables to all organic, it can help reverse their Crohn's disease. It can help reverse irritable bowel syndrome, gas, mental health problems. It's just phenomenal when we go back to just that pillar of strength, that physical pillar of eating well, taking care of the vessel. So your dedication of meal prepping and getting organized, this takes more time. But you're dedicated because you are worth it. You are worth eating well and feeding yourself well so that you feel good on all levels. If you can't pull yourself up out of bed, if you have no energy, if you have brain fog, if you have mood conditions that actually, I used to be considered bipolar by many standards, and I'll talk about that in another podcast. But that was so related to my sugar intake and my food intake. So coming back to that healthy diet and being dedicated to meal prepping and having things that are easy and healthy for you to choose. This dedication leads to the 4th D, discipline. Discipline. We need discipline when we fall off track. And let me guess, remember I talked about the subconscious mind? It loves to go back into old habits, old routines. So say you're doing really good, and we've all experienced this when we've tried to change our lifestyle and eat better. We've all experienced this. You're doing good. That first few days, for me, it was always 3 days, and I'm doing really good. And then that little voice in the back of my head, well, you've been doing so good. One cookie won't hurt. And that one cookie leads to a sliding downhill train into bad habits. That's what I've noticed about myself. So the subconscious wants to slide you back into what it knows. And it takes our discipline, right? It's our discipline that pulls us back. And for me, it used to be like, oh, I'll start tomorrow. Right? Watch that mind. She's a tricky girl. I'll start tomorrow, and then you forget, and then tomorrow doesn't start because you didn't food prep. You didn't stay determined. You didn't decide and do. And then the day after that, and then you're weeks. So what discipline is even if it's been weeks, even if it's been years, and you let your mind and this elephant steer your life. Today is a new day, my friend. Today is a new day. And you can start right now. The next choice you make for your body is yours. Every decision is yours. And it's hard at first. That's how the subconscious works. It wants you to be in that comfortable habit of poor eating. But you decided you wanted to have a different 80-year-old self. So you need discipline. You need to be able, no matter how long it has been, to start over. To start over. To watch the mind, to watch its tricks. And realize you have choice, that you don't have to listen to it. If you can get to the point where you hear that elephant, as I call it, or sometimes I refer to it as that raging gorilla in the corner that wants to, totally demolish the house and eat anything in sight or whatever, right? Sometimes we get on these rampages. It's up to you. You're one choice away from change. And again, you'll feel the resistance in your mind. That's normal. Just kind of know and start to notice the mind and know its tricks. And if you recognize those tricks, they're not as powerful over you. Right? So that negative thinking that happens, I've tried eating healthy before and it doesn't work. Okay. Today's a new day. This choice is a new choice. And listen to that voice. Listen to my voice if you need that as that reassurance in your brain that you can make change. Today is a new day. Right now is a new choice. And be proud of yourself when you make that good choice. Say, good for me. Even if that feels weird. Even if it feels like why would I talk to myself that way? Because you're retraining the mind. And the mind needs positive reinforcement. Just like training any animal. It needs rewards. Your kind words on positive actions are some rewards. Right? Okay, so just to review our 5 Ds. We're going to get to number 5 in 1 second. Just to review, you decide to eat better. You decide you are going to make this year where you focus on your health and your vitality. And you are determined that your 80-year-old self will be like my client and not like my mother. And you will have a different experience of life. You dedicate some time to these new goals. You have to. If you think about going through school, whether it's completing high school or completing post-secondary, didn't you have to kind of have some dedication? You had to show up to classes. You had to kind of put the assignments in. You had to do the tests, do the practicums. Like you had to have discipline to get that done. Anything in life takes that determination, dedication, and discipline. The discipline of getting back on track. And then our 5th D, devotion. Now devotion, when I added devotion, and you can have it as a spiritual context, absolutely. I have a very deep spiritual practice. But I'm just talking about the devotion to you. To loving yourself. Because so often we are putting everyone else's needs before our own. We are more devoted to our children's well-being, our partner's well-being, our well-being of our coworkers or our business. Gosh, we can be more devoted to how well our car runs and maintaining that than we can be to maintaining our own body. Devotion. How much do you devote to your own well-being? To your own physical pillar of strength, your health. Without your health, it's hard to build the other pillars, which I'll talk about in other podcasts. So, can you commit today to be devoted to thinking differently about yourself? To saying, yes, I can, rather than no, I can't. Do you know that our thoughts will always lead to actions. So if your thoughts are telling you you can't do something, then guess what? You can't do it. But if your thoughts are telling you, yeah, I can figure this out. It might take me a little longer. I might get off track sometimes, but I can do this. Don't you think that's a little more motivating and inspiring? Now, I have moved through clinical depression, so I absolutely know firsthand how negative thinking, and we believe our negative thinking is true. I used to believe I was the worst person, the ugliest person, the fattest person, the most awful person. Like self-loathing was an Olympic sport for me. I tried to commit suicide twice because of my self-hatred. So I get negative thinking. So how did I start to change that? I started to reprogram myself. I started to say helpful things towards myself. I would look in the mirror and I would find something I would like. It was hard. I was uncomfortable. I would cry because I didn't believe what I was saying until I just kept saying it. And then pretty soon my brain goes, oh yeah, you are that. And then I would do something else and it was uncomfortable and I hated it and I thought, it's not true until I kept saying it. And all of a sudden my brain was like, yeah, that's true. That's how we change our mind. It's work. But let's go back to devotion. You're worth it. You're worth it. And I spoke a little bit earlier in the podcast about that 5D reality and moving from 3D to 5D and my definition of that. So my definition of moving into 5D is learning that you are a creator being. That unlimited divine energy that creates who we are, our consciousness, our soul, our spirit, whatever word you use for that energy. I call it the creator of all that is. This energy created you to be a creator. And when we move into 5D realities, we start to realize I am a creator, so I better start creating with my thoughts what I want my life to be like. And back to negative thoughts for a second. If you are thinking negatively about yourself, it is not true. Your divine creator loves you. You are a part of your divine creator. Without you and your light, the whole universe is incomplete. So see how valuable you are. See how you are worthy of devoting to yourself. Thinking differently, feeling differently, acting differently. Well, I have loved spending this time with you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing your attention with me. I hope that this podcast was helpful. And please share this with others if you found this helpful. Feel free to share this with your friends. Share it on social media. So just to refresh, making changes, first of all, you have to decide you want to. You have to be determined to want to. You You have to take steps to show your dedication to these new goals. That dedication will become discipline, because it takes discipline to pull yourself off or back on track when we fall off track, which we all do. You are not a failure if you fall off track. You only have failed yourself if you don't get back on track. And I've gotten back on track constantly. Constantly. I don't see myself as a failure. I see myself as learning. You're learning. So that discipline leads to devotion, because as we get more disciplined, as we say yay to our wins in stepping in that right direction, remember, it's not about perfection. You don't have to eat perfectly. But if you are better than you were a month ago, that's a huge win. If you are better than yesterday, if you are better than the last choice you made, that's a win. That's devotion. Celebrate that. You are worthy of living your best self. You are worthy of seeing your divine light that you are made in. You are worthy of sharing that with the world around you. So again, I hope this podcast was helpful, and I hope to reach out and speak to you again next Monday. Watch for this weekly podcast, and feel free to share. And may you be blessed. May you be blessed in this 2025. Have a wonderful day.